Today, we're going to be talking about what to do when someone does not follow the court order. Typically, what we would do if there's a court order and it's not being followed is we would file something called an enforcement. So an enforcement can be enforcing lots of things. The most common type of enforcements you're going to see is a child support enforcement or a possession and access enforcement. There are a lot of different ramifications with both of those enforcements, but the main one is considered criminal contempt. That is what family lawyers are going to call quasi-criminal. What that means is that they follow a different set of rules than typically would be in a civil proceeding because they do involve the potential of jail time. That means someone can plead the fifth and not testify because their liberty is at stake. Whenever you have a child support enforcement, specifically, you must be very, very careful on how you plead your child support enforcement. It has to be with the utmost clarity, the utmost precision when you are filing a motion. If there are mistakes in your motion, or you left out who was supposed to do the action, what the action was, where the action was supposed to take place, and what the other party did, it could cause you to lose on your enforcement. And sometimes you might lose with prejudice, which means you can't file it again. That's why it's very important that your pleadings be as precise as possible. Another requirement of an enforcement is that it has to be personally served on the other party. That means you need to hire a process server and serve the other party with notice. Then you are going to have an enforcement hearing. Enforcement hearings are also very tricky. If you are asking for criminal contempt, there are some things that you must do in your enforcement hearing. For example, you must identify the witness. This sometimes can seem kind of silly because, of course, the other side is sitting right there. But if you are asking for criminal contempt, you must identify the witness, and you also must identify the document that you are trying to enforce. The reason that we identify the document, well, one is to tell the judge, look here, this is what we are trying to enforce. But another reason is because a document must be a conformed order signed by a judge in order to enforce it. You cannot enforce a verbal agreement. You cannot enforce something called an associate judge's report, which is very common to have immediately after you leave court. Penalties depend on what you are trying to enforce. If you are trying to force child support, you can put in jail time, fines. The court can take someone's driver's license away. They can hold someone's passports for not paying child support. So there are other penalties that come along with monetary fines or jail time. In enforcing an order for possession and access, it is very, very important that the person that is enforcing a possession and access order complies with the order perfectly. We call this perfecting the enforcement. So if it says that you need to be at your ex-spouse's house at 6 p.m. on a Friday, but you and your ex-spouse have always exchanged at a location down the street at 9 p.m., that would be a verbal agreement. You cannot enforce a verbal agreement. You would have to perfect your enforcement by going to your ex-spouse's house exactly as the order states you have to, whether it's what you've done always or what you haven't done. It has to be by the exact letter of the law in your order. If you do not comply with the court order, then you will not prevail on an enforcement for possession and access. If you do prevail on an enforcement, it is very common that you will get attorney's fees. You might not get all of your attorney's fees that you paid your attorney, but it is very common if you prevail on your enforcement to get some amount of attorney's fees because the other side was found to have violated the order, and so you should be compensated for that violation in paying for your attorney. Do you need help defending or enforcing a Texas court order? We do those all the time here at Varghese Summersett, so give us a call.